host, Rachel Ramsey, here today with the Director of Bands, Professor Joseph Lewis. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So tell me a little about yourself and what brought you to AU.
Well, I'm a father of 3 children. We just had our first, and we live in Morrill, Ohio, which is near Upper Sandusky. I have been in band directing. I've been teaching bands since 2007 and graduated from Ohio State in 2006, did a little bit of grad work there, but have been teaching bands since then. I've been in public schools and been here at Ashland University and also the commander of the 122nd Army Band in Columbus. So I've been spending my career directing bands and teaching music.
Awesome. And let's talk about your experience with the Ohio State Marching Band.
The Ohio State, I was in the Ohio State Marching Band from 2001 through 2005. It was a fantastic experience. Played a lot of music there, had a lot of great experiences, and learned a lot of things. A lot of what I do and know as a music director, as a band director, came from my experiences at Ohio State and specifically with the marching band.
Okay. And here at AU, what are your band practices like, and how long does it take to train for one band routine?
Band practices, we try to keep them, I would say, fun and educational at the same time, and productive, of course. I try to keep things fun for the marching band here because students, that's why they joined the marching band here at Ashland University. They're trying to have a fun experience. They want to continue music after high school. Many of them aren't music majors. They don't necessarily have aspirations to go out and teach music or be professional performers, but they want to continue playing music. And that's one of the beautiful things about the music program here at Ashland University is that there are a lot of students that aren't majoring in it. They're just doing it because they love doing it. So that creates a really great dynamic in the marching band. So when it comes to the day-to-day practices, we try to keep things fun. We work a lot on music, and musically the band sounds really fantastic, and we focus on the marching when we get the chance, when we're in the stadium, and then we have the intramural field now and then. But we really try to concentrate on having a great musical performance, but in general having just a great musical experience for the students that are in the band, and try to keep it fun for them and have a good time. It's a very social organization as well. Students make a lot of good friends, relationships that last a lifetime just by being in the AU Marching Band.
And when do you start training for the season, for football season?
We start a week before classes start, actually about 10 days before classes start. We'll start band camp. We do some pre-camp things the weekend before that last week before classes. We get some percussion camp things going, some leadership training with my leadership and squad leaders and such. And then band camp with everybody starts that Monday. The freshmen will come in. And then we start gearing up for our first show and start to get some of the music out, even for subsequent shows. And it takes us about, not counting band camp, usually takes us about 3 weeks to really get a show ready. We can do it in 2, but 3 is really nice, and we can take a little extra time to get things really prepared for the next show.
Okay, and let's talk about the reason why you started the AU Pep Band here.
I started the pep band partly out of necessity and partly just the students really wanted that. When I came and interviewed here, part of that interview process was about an hour-long conversation with students that wanted to attend. That conversation turned into about an hour and a half plus. I think it actually went closer to 2 hours if I remember right. One of the big things that was brought up is the need for a pep band or a desire to have a pep band at the games. And I said, I couldn't believe, first of all, they didn't have an organized pep band. We have a marching band here that's almost 100 years old. Typically, with a good marching band, you've got a pep band that goes with it. Here, that wasn't the case. It wasn't necessarily an organized pep band. They've had some ad hoc groups that have played at games in the past, but nothing organized, nothing steady. So it was brought to my attention that they wanted to do that. And so that was one of my first things I wanted to do. Like, hey, that's not a difficult thing to do. Just put it together, get some music. We used a lot of the music that was from the marching band season that year, and that's kind of how we've developed as we've gone. But it was a major thing asked by the students. They really wanted to do it, and so we just did it. We put it together. The response was huge. The crowd loves it. The athletic department loves it. Coaches love it. Players. And so it's been very successful so far, and looking forward to in the future making it even bigger and better and making it sound good and have a lot of fun with that.
That sounds great. And what are some of the challenges that you face with being in charge of the band program, and how do you handle those challenges?
One of the big challenges is recruiting. That's part of what I do here at Ashland University too, is recruit specifically for the music department. Not everybody knows that this university has a marching band. Being a private school, not every private school has a marching band. AU is fortunate not only to have a marching band, but a successful one and one with a lot of history. As I said, the marching band is almost 100 years old. The earliest I can see records is 1922. The first picture, the oldest picture I've seen is 1925. So Somewhere in that range. We're almost 100 years old, so that's not a typical thing for all universities of this size and a private school to have a marching band. So for me, the big challenge is getting the word out and building that marching band, and even getting the numbers higher than what they are right now. Traditionally, in the past, what I've seen is 80 to 85, and we're sitting right around about 70 last year, 71. So trying to get those numbers back up. We've gone through a little bit of turnover in the last couple of years before me. And so just trying to get those numbers built back up and let people know that we've got a great marching band program here, and get more students involved in it and make it bigger and better and make it sound great.
And what is your proudest moment in your career?
I think my proudest moment in my career, honestly, is being hired here at Ashland University and getting to direct the bands here. We've made some great music in the last couple of years. We had a fantastic concert. It had been last weekend with the junior high honor band, and the AU band performed very well. A lot of good compliments. And it's easy to say that after every performance, everybody did great, but they really did. They had a really nice performance. A lot of things went really well, and just to be able to play the music that we play here and the level that they will rise up to me, a really proud moment in my career is being here at Ashland University and working with the bands here and the students here. They're fantastic.
Awesome. And what is your favorite band routine?
My favorite. The way to explain that, I guess my favorite show that we've done so far actually was our first one. We did an 80s hair band show, my very first show here last year, which was a lot of fun. We did some 80s rock. We had a really great show last year. We did a spy show, which was really neat, the music that we played for that. I did some Mission Impossible, some James Bond, and I put in some little audio snippets over the loudspeaker that went along with the show. So it was really cool, and it's really neat to start to take shows kind of to the next level and add a few more elements to it.
Okay. And what are your future plans for the band program?
Future plans would just be to kind of build the numbers right now, and like I kind of alluded to, is just adding some more elements to each of our shows and making them, kind of taking them to the next step. Musically, marching-wise, continue to focus on improving marching and make it just as sharp as we can. But building those numbers and kind of making our shows even a little bit more exciting, a little bit more entertaining for our crowds, and that's kind of our next steps.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Rachel.
And that's it for this episode of The Eagle's Eye. I'm Rachel Ramsey, and thanks for joining us.